Today we are welcoming Claire Riley to the podcast. Hi, Claire.
Hey, good to see you.
You too. Now, Claire is a produced screenwriter. She had the film made called The Perfect Family, starring Kathleen Turner.
Has nominated me for Catholic Woman of the Year.
Why are you whispering?
I'm still in church. It's a sin to boast.
As you all know, both Eileen Cleary and Agnes Dunn have been nominated.
Every time something good is about to happen to me, Agnes Dunn pops up.
The blood of Christ. You know you're a shoo-in.
How do you figure that?
Agnes Dunn's cousin married a Protestant.
It's so important the home visit goes well to ensure you're our choice.
You are not married and over 30.
Is that a new sin I'm not aware of?
No, I just think it would be nice if you told the committee you were dating a good Catholic man.
Angela and I are getting married.
It's the gays that are trying to indoctrinate our children.
My daughter is a lesbian and Frank's a drunk.
You think the church wouldn't approve of them?
Every time I say
My cousin owns the real estate office just right across the street from Teresa Hennessy's salon. She said that she saw Frank Jr. there nearly every day this week.
Some bag lady staring at us.
Oh, Jesus, please help our son, Frank Jr., to stop being an idiot and go back to his wife and children. She's older than you are. You can't even have a midlife crisis right.
I'm just trying to be happy, Mom.
Well, who cares if you're happy?
You're living in sin. Says who?
The Pope.
What do you think?
I don't have to think. I'm a Catholic. I've made a lot of mistakes.
Oh, we all struggle from time to time.
What if it's all the time? Our family is falling apart.
Can't live like this anymore. This year, we are particularly blessed to be honoring someone who embodies both faith and family.
Will you stop kicking me? Will you stop being a jerk?
Hey, you stop kicking him. You stop being a jerk.
So tell us about your background, Claire. How did you get in the business and end up screenwriting and cutting this deal to make the movie?
Well, I didn't come at screenwriting directly. I was in a PhD program. I got my PhD in anthropology, and I wrote my dissertation on lesbian families. And I was having trouble getting a academic job, and I just thought, well, maybe I'm not supposed to be in academia. Maybe I'm supposed to be doing something else. What else could I be doing? And suddenly, it was like something opened up in my head and these characters jumped out. And I had a whole story about a woman who was dealing with her daughter, learning that her daughter was a lesbian and having a baby through an anonymous donor. It took a life of its own, and I wrote the script. And I got it to the director first, not the producers, which is unusual, but she was Anne Renton, her name is, and she's fabulous.
Mhm.
And she was looking for her first feature. She'd done a short. She put an ad in Inktip in the newsletter,
Okay.
and I responded to her, and I said, I think you're looking for my script. And I was right.
Okay, so you made a direct connection there. That's fantastic. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And then she opted it and you got it rolling and it got made.
And it premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival.
So it went the film festival route. So tell me, from that movie, did you have any other connections you made, such as agents, additional projects, or anything like that?
I made some connections with people, but I didn't actually get signed with anyone.
Okay. Now, did you do the deal, if you don't mind me asking, through an entertainment attorney, or you just had someone look at it, a one-off with an agent, or how did you do your legal?
I had an entertainment attorney. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a good route to go. A lot of people don't realize that you can make an entire movie without an agent or a manager, and you can do an entertainment attorney. Absolutely. Now, you tend to do specialize in female characters,
Yes.
LGBTQ characters,
Yes.
iconic queer heroes that we haven't seen before on the screen, and I love that. And with that said, you are working now on a television series
Yes.
about it's a lesbian Western, which I
Yes.
love the concept. I'm already seeing this, and it's called Out in the West. So tell us about this. Is it a comedy, a drama? I know it's a Western, but what's the flair of it?
Well, I've written comedies in the past, so a lot of people expected it
Right.
to be a comedy, but it's
Right.
actually not. It's a
Okay.
Western drama. I actually was watching a rerun of an old TV series. You know, when I was a kid, which was like many, many moons ago, there were so many Westerns on TV, and
Yes.
one was called Wagon Train.
Mhm.
And I was like, and I just had this idea of like two women getting on a wagon train. I was like, well, why are they going on the wagon train? Well, they're running away. Who are they running away from? And I just kept asking myself questions and after asking the characters question. And I came up with an idea that at the end of the Civil War, two women who were living together as friends in the sense of both of them had lost their husbands and one was helping the other because she was, she had a baby, but secretly they were lovers. One of their husbands was not dead and he came home and they run away very quickly to get away from him. And they take a wagon train west.
Okay.
So the pilot is just there escaping, from Missouri. They're from living in Missouri. The rest of the first season is their actual journey on the wagon train.
That's amazing. I mean, back then that would have been so, I mean, more than frowned upon. You'd probably be thrown out the wagon train, right? I mean,
Not only thrown off the
wow.
wagon train, it was a crime.
Oh, right.
You could be imprisoned for having same-sex sex. And that's if you got in front of the law. If people just saw you, they could lynch you. I mean, it was
Right.
actually very dangerous. So one of them is dresses as a man and poses as a man. So they
Oh,
present
okay.
themselves as a heterosexual couple.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so there's a lot of like, first of all, does the crazy husband who's not just a husband that you wish stay dead, but he's actually a sociopath. He's very violent and crazy. Is he going to catch them? Or will people on the wagon train find out the truth about them in which they
Right.
would be in physical danger? And then there's
Right.
also the danger of a wagon train journey, like 10%, 5 to 10% of people didn't survive. So there's sort of like adventure, thriller sort of elements to it.
And there's lots of danger in that because if you have someone who's pretending to be a male, and
Yes.
continue this relationship, males had a specific role they were expected to play. Like if there was an Indian encounter or something, they were expected to go and fight. And so this, I can really see the dynamics of this playing out.
She is a woman who, like when I was a kid, you would call her a tomboy, but so she
Okay.
wasn't she didn't act like a typical woman of the times. She did, and she was actually one of the wonderful things about her is she's an expert shot. And
Okay.
she has an incredibly fast so she has the capacity to pose, but it's still very challenging because there's one thing
Right. Yeah.
to just do male activities and there's another thing to pretend to be a man. So
Now, are you promoting it now? Are you in the writing phases or where are you at with it right now?
I had until very recently, I had two producers working with me. We had a shopping agreement. They weren't able to find a home for it. So I very recently got it back and I am now starting to market it again myself.
Okay. So your option agreement, did it expire and you just decided not?
It expired.
What about your first director? Does she have any interest in maybe pursuing it?
Not at this point. Not at
Okay.
this point. Yeah.
Because sometimes directors hook up with the same writers again. I mean, it happens in the business.
Yes,
Not always, but
absolutely.
with all the diversity things today, I think that will find a home because it has so much
I
intrigue
think
about
so.
it. 'Cause I'm intrigued to see how it's handled on the West. Because I mean, picture the big wagon trains and the things that they encountered. I mean, so and so much. I know a lot's been done about that, but that hasn't been done. That story hasn't
Yes.
been done about the West.
The
So
thing about it is we haven't really seen a picture of like the queer West,
right,
queer people out West. And it's because people were hiding, people were concealing themselves. Now there was that fabulous show, Gentleman Jack, which was based on a true story of a woman who wrote in a secret code in her diary about all the sexual relationships she had with women. Well, not everybody does that.
I'm glad the diversity is coming out now, where we get a chance to
Yes.
see everyone in society, not just a particular group or a particular type of people. So tell me, I know everyone who's going to want to know, what is your writing process? Do you research? Do you outline? How do you, or you just throw it all out there? What do you do?
Well, it depends on the project. A lot of my projects really come from the most recent one, the Western is different because that's a different historical time. So I did have to do research, but the comedies, there weren't really a lot of things I had to research because they were just the human interactions. I really just get into who the characters are. I have them talk to me based on who they are. I have them put them in the situations that will be most interesting.
And for the TV series, were you planning on an ongoing series, limited series? What were you planning for that one?
I would love it to be an ongoing series. Yeah.
Ongoing series.
For
Okay.
that, I had to do research because I had to understand things about wagon trains and how long it took to get from here to there, and just a lot of little detail things.
Your series, are you going on the wagon train, the episodes, like while they're along the wagon train?
Yes, the
Okay. Gotcha.
bulk of the series will be the first season.
First
The
season.
first season will be them on the actual wagon train, and then the subsequent seasons will be there in California.
So tell me, if someone out there's a brand new writer, and what would be your best advice to them for getting into the business?
Well, first of all, just write things that they love. Because if you're writing something that's for the market changes.
Mhm. Okay.
And when you write a script, you think, oh, I'm going to go out and sell it right away. That sometimes that happens, but more often than not, it will take a few years for you to find a home for it. So you have to really love it. You have to be able to talk about it with passion and with joy. You have to pitch it. And if it's something that you just wrote because you thought it would get out there, it's going to be hard for you, to really get the energy up to pitch it, unless you're a fabulous actor, which some people are actors and writers. So that's the thing that I would say. Make sure you get training on screenwriting. There are people who think, less people think they can just write a screenplay because they've seen movies. It's
Right.
it's an art, there's a skill to it. I worked a lot with Screenwriting U. I don't know if you know Hal Grossman at Screenwriting U,
Mhm.
that he provides great training for screenwriters. One of the best things I ever got from working with Hal at Screenwriting U was I met wonderful writers. He creates a community. So you want to have friends who you can reach out to and get help for. But get help whatever you're doing. Yeah. And one thing I would also say is to keep in mind that the entertainment business, from my experience, is based on rejection. So if you send your script to 100 people, maybe 4 people will request to see, request to read it. You're sending a pitch, say, would you like to read my script?
Query, yeah, the query. Yeah.
And only 4 people want, but that's actually good. That's
Yeah,
so
4 or 5 is a good number. Yeah, and 100.
yes,
It is. Yes,
it's
it is.
like that is about the percentage of requests that you get. So you need to have a perspective, because if you think that you're not doing well, if you think that you get dejected, it could be really hard to keep moving on. When I had gotten these producers to work with me with the Western, I sent out over 500 queries to people.
Easy.
I sent out, I lost count after 500, so it was probably,
Probably more. Yeah.
probably closer to 6. So you just need to know that going in, because if you consider that the norm, then when that happens, you won't be discouraged. If you think you're going to find somebody after 20 people and you've only, gotten one request after 100 people, you're going to feel something's wrong with you.
Yeah, I get that all the time from writers. Oh, I sent out 50 queries and no one responded. What do I do? I'm like, send out another 500, just like what you just said. And by the way, the average actually, when I attended UCLA's advanced screenwriting program, we were told the average was 1,000. So if you did it in 600, about 6, that's actually pretty good. On top of everything else that Claire's done, she's successful and a wonderful lady. She has done something recently that I find amazing, and I don't know a lot about it, other than maybe a few online gurus. Is recently she became a certified life coach. First of all, for all of us out there not sure what that definition means, tell us, what is a certified life coach?
Basically, I help people to get out of their own way so that they can create and live a life they would love. Most of us grew up with getting some negative messages about ourselves and our place in the world, some more than others. But those messages, when you get them when you're really young, they go into your subconscious and you're not even aware of them. You might be a screenwriter, let's say, if you're a screenwriter, and you are nervous about talking to people. If you want to be a successful screenwriter, you need to talk to people. You need to pitch your script.
Absolutely.
And if that's holding you back, you're not going to be able to get your, reach your goal. So I would work with someone in understanding what are the beliefs that they're holding and they're not necessarily aware of today, and help them get past those beliefs and move forward. I got interested in this many years ago, and like 30 years ago, I wanted to do something like this, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't realize you really need to have someone helping you. And not only did I have something help, but 30 years later, we have the internet, and the world has just changed so much. So I found the Brave Thinking Institute because I wanted to get coaching for my own life. And I just loved their approach so much. And I looked into their training. They also train people to be coaches. And I looked into the training and I said, oh my God, this is what I wanted to do 30 years ago, but I didn't know how to do it. So I was so grateful to find it. So yes, so I will be starting very soon, and I'm real excited about it.
Okay, and by the time you see this podcast, we're going to be putting up all of Claire's information, her website, and that in the link below. So if you're on YouTube, go below on the description area and you will find all of Claire's information. So now, is this just for any particular groups you're doing? Is it just anyone in any type of business, or any type of individual in particular, or who's your
The
client?
process that I learned is a reliable, repeatable process, and you can use it on any goal that you have, any vision you have, any dream that you have. I want to focus on people who are retired, because I'm also retired, and a lot of times I'm seeing friends retiring, and they don't know exactly what to do with themselves. And perhaps they know there's something else they want to do, but they're not sure. Some people have something they've always wanted to do, but it was like, well, I'm busy with raising my kids and my job. I'll do it later and later. And it's like, okay, it's now later, but they still don't know how to get things off the ground. So I'd like to work with them. I'd also like to work with writers and other creative people, since I'm a writer myself, but actually, and I really can help anyone. And I wanted to just say one other thing, Barb. I remember speaking to someone, and he said, oh, I know all that. I saw the movie, The Secret. And you may have read books on achieving goals.
Manifestation, right?
Manifestation, exactly. But there's a difference between reading the books and seeing the movies and actually taking the ideas and applying them to your own life. I'll give you an example. I was visiting someone, my niece and I were visiting someone, and she had every book in the world on dieting. She knew about every diet. She had books about exercise. She had exercise machine, and she weighed over 300 pounds. She knew everything, but she didn't know how to apply it. And that's not uncommon. It's very difficult to apply new ways of thinking, because our brains are trained to think a certain way. So I found I needed help. I need a coach to help me along. And that's actually what I'm doing. I'm just helping someone and guiding them in creating a life they would love. And writers, we're a fabulous bunch. We're very creative and just amazing. And I think we absorb people and things. But we tend to be, not everybody, but a lot of us tend to be more quiet and loners.
Introverts, yeah.
We like to sit at our computer and type things up. So asking us to go out is like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
an actor is used to performing and being out there,
Right, right. And taking acting classes is one thing I always tell writers too. Take an acting class
Great
because
idea.
yeah, because
Great
that
idea.
really shows you how to get out there and put yourself out there in a way that you don't feel nervous and you feel comfortable.
I've read lots of wonderful scripts that I think would have made wonderful movies, but they're not out there for lots of reasons. But one of them could be that the writer just wasn't able to promote their own work.
Okay,
Yes.
well, in closing, Claire, is there anything you'd like to say to some producers out there about your work?
If anybody is looking for a queer Western, get in touch with me. It's wonderful. It won a couple of contests. I got some fabulous feedback. It's just a very exciting script.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that because it's something new and different, and I love westerns. So
Me too. I love Westerns
yeah,
too.
like bring them back. People keep saying it's dead and then it comes back again, and I think Claire Riley is going to bring it back. So
Wonderful.
thank you, Claire, for being with us today, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.